Thank you for all the equipment you provided to the branch campus, Chairman Irina. Elise has been a big help too. We really can't thank the RF company enough. While my daughter aside, the reports that you've been sending us have been just as helpful. And Emma, I'd like to thank you for all the data you provided us on the Orbital staff. It was no trouble at all. Thank you for letting me use it. There really is a lot of talent here at this party tonight. If either of you have any complaints about your current positions, just let me know. I'll have positions at RF worthy of your talents prepared in an instant. That's so nice of you to offer, but I'm happy where I am right now. Yeah, so am I. Looks like she's still in recruitment mode. Let's see, who haven't I talked to yet? Man, Irina really knows how to network. As the branch campus's head of political economics, I'm particularly interested in Chairman Irina's business philosophy. I wonder if she'd be willing to teach a special class for us. Good idea, I think the students would really benefit from something like that. I'm glad I'm not the only one, maybe I should ask her. Elisa's mother is so pretty, and she's a genius businesswoman to boot. I hope that one day I can carry myself with her level of confidence. You know, Emma, you're an impressive woman in your own right. You mean it? It's kind of embarrassing to hear you say it out loud like that. Prince Cedric, it's been far too long. You're right, it has been a few years, hasn't it, Patrick? And you're Ash, right? I think this is the first time we've spoken one-on-one like this. Yeah, I guess so. We have our problems, but I can't say I don't like your style. Every time we run to you, you say some shit that really stirs things up. My word, have you forgotten this is the Crown Prince? Show him some respect. He's right, Ash. Oh well, it isn't Rean again. Don't worry about Ash. I'm glad for the chance to just be able to talk with someone my own age. Hear that? I got the okay, straight from the Imperial family. Even so, you still need to be more respectful. Like I said, don't worry, it's fine. Anyway, I assume you're here to give me your reply about your upcoming dance with my sister? What did you just say? Huh, for real? Or it was a last minute sort of thing? So the rumors were true after all. Well, no matter, if you're dancing with a princess, then I'll be able to dance with Elise. Dance with Elise? What exactly makes you think you can do that? Why do you always make that same terrifying smile? So this is the overbearing older brother side of you I've heard so much about. Quite different from my own older brother. But when you think about how lovely Elise is, it's only natural to look out for her. Damn man, making a move on the princess herself. And I'm supposed to be the crazy one in the group. Can you please not say things that'll get me thrown into prison? You know, you're like a completely different person whenever Elise is around. If you learned your lesson, maybe I wouldn't have to be. That said, after she dances with me, you're welcome to ask her for a dance. Really? But just remember, Patrick, leave room for ideas. Right. Well, hello there, Marcus. It's been a while, eh? A little over a year if I'm remembering right. Oh yes, we last spoke when the province was having those flooding issues. The dam you oversaw construction of has been working excellently. It's already gotten a long way towards improving the livelihoods of our local farmers. I'm glad to hear it. It's a good thing we were able to proceed with the project, free of my demon daughter's influence. My, Master Gwen. Well, the chairman has been a great help to us too, in her own way. You must be Sharon. I hear your experts are indispensable in helping us expand St. Ark's airport. Celestin was truly grateful for the assistance. I was only working in Chairman Irina's stead. Besides, Celestin's finesse in getting permission from the railways is just as important. Well, that reminds me, didn't you work with Celestin at the main campus last year? A super butler and a super maid working shoulder to shoulder. And maybe the two of them pressed more than that together. Well, he's 3 years old now, and like a son to me. I'd be happy to discuss arrangements between the two. Oh no, oh my, no, it would be far too great an honor for me. Well, we're having fun. I'm surprised by how many people the Rhineford's know. I guess it makes sense though, given how big their company is. Probably wouldn't think it, but Marcus Hyams and I go back quite a ways. Not quite old colleagues, but I had the opportunity to work with him on a number of matters concerning infrastructure. Yes, it was around 10 years ago, during the time the plans were being drawn up for the modernization of the nation's railway network. And I leave it to the man who used to sit in the big chair at Rhineford to talk about Marcus Hyams like just another business associate. It's such a lovely party. You certainly seem to be enjoying yourself. I am, but for one concern. Will Elise's feelings be reciprocated when it comes to time to dance? I mean, let me think it over. The longer I stay in this conversation, the more she'll make me squirm. Oh, Rean, it's good to see you again. I hear you've been working more miracles in the other provinces, just as you did in Silverland. It wasn't just me, I had help from a huge number of people. I saw you speaking with the Emperor and a Chancellor earlier. Oh yes, I saw General Leguin and Brigadier General Bardius heading to present themselves. And I couldn't help but be nosy and go stand with them. I wouldn't call it nosiness, you have quite a genuine concern for others. That's what we need in times like these. By the way, is Selson here with you? Oh, he's with my oldest son at the Party City Hall. He's with my oldest son at the Party City Hall is hosting. I hope he's been helpful to those of you at the branch campus. Helpful? If I started to list off everything he's done for us, we'd be here all night. Oh, so that was when you and Brigadier General Bardius first met. I'm sure your little duel ended up wrecking everything around you for a whole selge. Well, duels are an excellent way to deepen one's bonds. That's true, isn't it, Fee? Now that you mention it, I guess so, yeah. Taking a trip down memory lane, I see. Yes, we're listening to Countess Leguin's tales from when she was a student. After the school year began, she took control of the fencing club and declared war on all the other clubs. She beat the swimming club in the swimming race, the chess club at chess, any club that lost to her had to join the fencing club. Finally, she challenged Brigadier General Bardius, the president of the riding club, to a jousting match. I've heard bits and pieces of the story before, but there were so many things wrong with that story. The match went on for 2 hours without a winner. It finally ended in a draw when we knocked the other upper horses simultaneously. It was that moment that Wallace became an important person to me. He's my right hand and my comrade, a rival and a partner. As a fellow swordswoman, I'm jealous of you. Having someone like that would be incredible. Someone who's a nemesis but also a friend. I think I get it. Since we have the chance, I'd like to hear your stories too. I wonder about Laura, but I'm sure your history is just as fascinating. Have you by chance met the leader of the Red Constellation? Perhaps a war god? Or maybe an S-rank racer? I've seen a war god's successor, but I haven't met any of the S-rank racers yet. Well, it's understandable. There are only a small handful of them on the entire continent, after all. We're really getting into the conversation now. I shouldn't be surprised that Aurelia already knew Laura, and I think she'll get along great with Fee, too. So you're a bracer, are you? I'm surprised to see such strong members of the guild as yourself and the Purple Lightning. Speaking of, I hear she's acquainted with my master as well. Yes, that's correct. She and my father share mutual respect. The way I hear it, the guild's been trying to recruit you for a while now. If you join, they'd probably bump you straight up to S rank. Oh, is that so? Now I'm even more curious. Perhaps being a bracer would be a refreshing change of pace for me. I'm not so sure about that. It may not be the best fit. I'm sure she's just joking around like usual, right? But if she did become a bracer, I could picture the looks on Sarah and Tobal's faces. We may be understaffed, but I think adding the principal to our ranks might be overkill. And even if we did, we'd have her and Sarah butting heads every day. Yeah, I could definitely see that. So I'm kinda glad she offered. I hope we can keep having little chats like this from now on. The Countess's position is a difficult one. Despite having reached the top of her current field, her ambition still knows no bounds. We cannot lose to them, Rean. We shall make our way forward together. Always, Laura, always. It's an honor to be able to speak with you, Your Highness. My name is Muse Gret. I apologize for not being able to meet with you before now. Well, that's not quite true. I remember you visiting the palace about 13 years ago, when your parents were still alive. The two of us first met back then. Then you first met Alfin too. I remember the two of you playing and laughing. I had no idea. Now that you mention it, I have a few fuzzy memories. I think it was about 4 at the time, so she must have been 3. At the time, I could never have guessed what was going to happen to your parents. These words may be far too late, but my heart goes out to you for your loss. No, I appreciate it. Thank you for your kind words. I guess this is the first time they were able to talk like this. But if her parents came to visit the palace, then that must mean... Wait, it's another conversation. Introducing yourself to the Empress, Muse? Well, yes, I've lived in Heimdall for quite some time now, but I've never had a chance to speak with her. I'm glad I was able to put one of my regrets to rest. I'm sorry it took so long, Muse. Laura had actually been asking me to set up a meeting with you for a little while, but with everything that happened, I'm glad you two were finally able to speak, though. Thank you, Alfin. I guess Muse's circumstances are more complicated than I thought. I'm glad to hear she has the Empress and Princess Alfin looking out for her. Oh, so Instructor Rean, are there any truth to the rumors that you'll be dancing with the Princess later this evening? I suppose Cedric has been playing for that, but while I did ask before, I'm sure it would be a bit difficult for you to accept, Rean. I explained things to Cedric, so everything should be fine now, and... is this still happening regardless? I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding, but... Rean told him about the conversation he had with Cedric earlier regarding the dance. He did what? Is he still going ahead with this behind my back? I suppose it's been set in stone, little by little. I'm sure the two of you will look great together, but I can't help but feel a little jealous. And poor Elise. Yes, that's what's been worrying me the most. What does Elise have to do with this? What? What? We're trying to attempt a freeway dance? Anyway, Muse, please lend me your help. I'm sure that insidious mind of yours can come up with a plan. Hey, that's quite a way to ask for help, but I accept. After all, how can I say no to helping both Elise and my dearest instructor? They've gotten off in their own little world. I should start mentally preparing for the dance. Gosh, Cedric. Sorry, this whole situation is sort of my fault. No, don't blame yourself. Anyway, we need to figure out how to resolve this as soon as possible. Perhaps I should ask Muse what she thinks. I need to figure something out myself. See, that obliviousness of yours is going to be your downfall, instructor. Perhaps I'll employ the help of the rest of Class VII for this one. Or what did I just get myself into? I hadn't heard Muse was one of your students. I'm truly happy I was able to get the chance to speak with her. I'm not too familiar with everything that's happening over in La Mer. I get a feeling she has some complicated circumstances there. I'm sure she'll be able to tell you about it eventually, one way or another. We seem to be surrounded by so many tragic stories, such as Oliver's past. The way he lost his mother was truly heartbreaking. I've heard a few rumors, like how she was born a commoner. Yeah, she was the one the Emperor was truly in love with. I remember it vividly. I was a humble maid back then. They lived far away from Heimdall, and yet he was always trying to find ways to get her to live in the palace with him. Is it okay for me hearing about this? Oh, it's fine. Nearly everyone here at the palace knows already. However, after she passed, he accepted the throne and ended up choosing someone from a small noble family to be his wife, me. We went through some troubles, but eventually Oliver began living with us, and was blessed with my daughter and son. His Majesty has given Alfin and Cedric his whole heart as their father. But... I'm sorry, I shouldn't be discussing such things. No, it's fine. Prince Oliver is at the Party City Hall is hosting tonight, right? Yes, he's there representing the Imperial family. I hope things will begin to change for the better here in the palace, and for the Vander family too. Yes, I hope for that too. Oh dear, there seems to be something wrong. Alfin does not seem to mind it, however. Rean, I ask that you take good care of my daughter. Your words are too kind. Machias, Kurt, and Fritz, what are you three talking about? We're discussing chess. Will you care to join in? Oh, that makes sense, now that I think about it. I had no idea Machias was also in the chess club. To have entered that tournament, he must be really skilled. Oh, you were in the tournament? Yeah, there was an amateur chess tournament going on the other day. I happened to have the day off, so I figured it might be fun. I ended up losing in the semifinals. Oh wow, even getting into the semifinals is impressive on its own. I agree, even though it's for amateurs, the people who place high in those tournaments are often just as good as some pros. Will you mind telling us more about it? Sure thing. It's always nice seeing people bond over shared hobbies. You know, all this talking really has me in the mood for a game of chess. I hope we can play together again someday, Rean. That'd be fun, even more so if we could get Eustace to join us. Oof, yeah, I guess. Eustace hasn't changed a bit. Still just as intimidating and aloof as he ever was. Someone needs to knock him off his high horse. Sounds like you haven't changed much either, Machias. Eustace was really good at chess back and forth, and I can only imagine he's gotten better. But I've gotten better too. There's no way I'd let him win. Remember, there was that one bonding event where he did have to defeat Eiyuu. Apparently, the main campus used to have 2 separate chess clubs. I hear they had quite a heated rivalry between them. And it makes sense considering how passionate Makia seems about it. Makias must be quite a skilled player, considering he made it all the way to the semifinals. I wonder if he'd be open to teaching me his secrets someday. Hello, you two. You seem like you're talking about something interesting. We were in the middle of discussing military technology in recent years. There's no stopping the march of progress. We've got weapons today that people couldn't even have dreamed of just decades ago. That's true. Panzer Soldats, those colossal archaisms, even the railway cannons. Not to mention, certain countries almost have fully functioning orbital networks. Soon enough, we may even get to the point where even bracers will need to know how to use an orbital terminal. If you can't use an orbital terminal, then the future will be bleak for you. How do you mean? Technological advancements in recent years are due to the development of high-level orbital arithmetic logic units. The orbital network works to connect those. As more and more linked, the possibilities become endless. This new technology is far more advanced than anything that came before it. In fact, it goes further to say we're living for the second orbital revolution. No kidding? You're saying this is happening as we speak, then. Now this sounds like quite a fascinating little chat. Oh? Hey there, Lecter, so there you are. Yeah, I was off doing a few patrols of the place. Seems like the palace is secure, though. Phew, all that walking really worked up an appetite. I'm about to be all over this buffet. By the time I'm done, it'll probably be all over me, too. With the way you act, no one would ever know you're a major. Oh yeah, how's progress on the Ramdas, Professor? Right, those were the bell ornaments the Calbardian agents were using. Don't be impatient, I've only just begun the analysis. From my first look at them, though, I can tell they're excellently made. Their most noteworthy quality so far is that they will only function when activated by their owners. Thus far, all we've gotten from our analysis has been reams of junk data. Well, maybe they use the unique qualities of each person's spirit as a kind of key. And a person's spirit is definitely something you can't just crank out a copy of. Could it be that they've got a completely secure system, probably called a spirit code or something like that? How do you know all this? I don't know a thing. I'm just pulling this all this from the usual place. Those are all just guesses? You need to give logical explanations to support your hypotheses. Lecter was telling me about his intuition earlier today, but she's too. Yeah, like a bucket of vinegar and a pile of baking soda. This will probably go on for a while, so let's just let them fight it out. I don't know if that's the best option. Just look at them argue. It's a beautiful thing. No intention of stopping them, I take it. By the way, didn't you have some guild business to discuss with Lecter? Oh yeah, about reopening the branches outside of Heimdall. I'm saving that for later. Figured it'd be best to bring that up when I had Fee with me. Tell me, how did you know all that? Spit it out. I require a full logical explanation, and not one iota less. Man, I really got myself caught by some real troublemakers. Well, honestly, it was your own fault. But you really didn't know about the Ramdas? I mean, sure, I had my suspicions. Huh? Just between you and me, I can hear there's an artifact that can perfectly encrypt communication data. It can connect across any distance and even serve as a terminal for multiple devices. Wait, could that be? Man, can you guys just let me enjoy myself? I got people to schmooze and horrors divorce to snarf. That's our Lecter, unfortunately. Excuse me, are you Miss Elise Reinford of the RF group? You're one of the members of the Class VII, right? The ones who saved Cedric's life in the Civil War? And now you're the director of the Force Development Division. I saw the interview you had with the Imperial Chronicle. It was so inspiring. My name's Ada Grant. I'm from Class 1 at Force Main Campus, and it's really an honor to meet you. Oh, that's really flattering. Thank you. I'm happy to meet you too, Ada. I think you might be overselling me a bit, though. Hey, there's no need to be so modest, Elisa. You really are an incredible woman. Exactly, it's one of my goals to be even half as lovely and skilled as you are. Wow, well from what I hear, you're pretty skilled already. You got second place in the midterm exams out of both Force campuses combined, right? Those are just grades. When I think about everything you and your class accomplished, scoring high on the test seems so insignificant. Nonsense, you should never devalue your own hard work. Hey, maybe you should come work for me after you graduate. Hey, just kidding. Oh, I think he's stunned her into silence. Or sorry, I still haven't decided what to do after I graduate. Don't stress over it, just keep in mind as one of your potential choices. I will, thank you so much. It looks like Elise is in recruitment mode too. And also, Ada seems to know a lot about Class 7. I wonder if that's the reason she enrolled at Forest in the first place. Another conversation. Because of the restructuring in the main campus this year, we students are being strongly encouraged to get jobs with the military or government. I've been agonizing over what I should do even before I enrolled at Forest. I actually considered going to stay in Stride at one point. You don't say. Yes, the new Princess Alfin was attending the schools, and I thought I might be able to find the path to follow there. But then I heard about a heroic group of students from Forest fighting in the Civil War. That's what led to my decision. I'm happy to hear we were able to inspire you like that. Now she can carry the Forest spirit just like you did. I suppose no matter which school you end up choosing, you would have been able to meet someone from the Imperial family. Yeah, I almost wish we could have gone to school together. But of course we can still be friends now. I look forward to seeing you more in the future, Ada. Yes, so do I. She may not be related to Instructor Rean by blood, but she's just as wonderful a person as he is. Is everything alright? No, or yes, sorry, it's nothing. Looks like you're still agonizing over what to do after graduation. No, it was something else, or I mean... I'm happy to see the three of them getting along so well. Ada's so brilliant and can do so much that she's probably having a hard time deciding what exactly to do. But it was wonderful to hear that you had such an impact on her that she wanted to enroll at Forest. It really is an honor, I'm thrilled. Seems the wall between the main and branch campuses is all but gone. Oh, there you are, Rean. That girl, Ada, she's from the main campus, right? I'm pretty impressed with her. I ended up giving her an invite to come work for me. I guess you're more like your mom than you think, Elise. That's the last thing I want to hear. But since you brought it up, is this the kind of mindset Mother has? It's a relief to see the next generation of Forest students is so impressive. What will you two be doing about the dance after this? Right, well, traditionally it's the man who asks the woman out. Yes, if you ask me, I certainly won't decline. Both of them seem fidgety. I wonder what's going on. Still 3 more groups. There you are, Yuna and Altina. Talking with Major Claire, I see. Instructor. Hello, hello there. You've been bouncing between all the different chats the whole night, Instructor. Well, a chance to talk with all these different people doesn't come often. I just need to make the most of it. I remember that Yuna knew Claire from before, but had you met her before the start of the school year, Altina? Yeah, she often looked after Milliam and me when we went on joint missions. We haven't had a good chance to talk with each other like this since back when I was still at the police academy. She really helped me out a lot back then. Oh, you know, it was nothing. What precisely did the Major help out with? If you're comfortable with sharing with us, that is. Well, it's old news by now, but it happened at the end of last year. After Lloyd was branded a criminal, I started protesting it to the military police HQ. But the new head of the department was from Erebonia, and he revoked all the academic credits I gained. For protesting, how could he even do that? Such actions were both beyond his rights and unfounded. Precisely, I felt it was completely uncalled for, so I stepped in. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get our units back. But we managed to get about half of them reinstated. And we reached an agreement where I'd be able to get the other half back by attending a different school. Now I see. So that's how you end up at the branch campus. Correct, though I thought it would benefit her more than simply retaking the same classes at the military police academy. I heard a new Class 7 was going to be formed, so I recommended her to the branch campus. Wow, I had no idea. I was pretty ticked off at the time, but now I feel like everything worked out for the best. If I continue on at the police academy and join the military police, I probably would have exploded from stress. I don't think this means I was happy to be in your class or anything. Oh yeah, that's a shame. But does that mean you're going to leave us once you get back your units? Oh. Well, After going through all that to get here, there's no way I'm going to just up and leave you guys. There are so many things I want to do here now, and besides, I need to stick around to look after you, Allie. Well, as far as schoolwork is concerned, I'm the one who looks after you. I'm glad you found such a good place for yourself, Yuna. There were many reasons I recommended Yuna to the branch campus, but it makes me happy to see just how well she's done. She really is impressive. Perhaps it's a little late to say this now, but thank you for sending her our way. Well, you don't have to thank me. Knowing that one of my dear students has been able to spread her wings is thanks enough. Oh, that's right. Another connection, huh? I've been thinking about it, but there's no guarantee I'll be able to stay at the branch campus. Does the thought of leaving make you sad? I don't think I understand that feeling. In any case, I prefer being here. But if it turns out I need to leave, I'll accept my new orders. If possible, I'd like to spend more time with you and the others. I'm glad to hear it. Man, fate sure works in mysterious ways, huh? If you told me... you told me half a year ago where I'd be today. Anyway, thanks, Instructor Rean, for everything you've done for us up till now. I didn't expect to get a chance to speak with you, Brigadier General. The Black Whirlwind of Silverland himself. Last time I saw you was in the final battle of the Civil War. Good to see you again too, General. It was a real shame the Imperial Castle got in their way. I would have liked the chance to test myself against the legendary 4th Armored Division. It would have been an honor to even slow you down. Quit your joking. Between your prowess piloting a Panzer Soldat and your spear skills, you have done a lot more than just slow us down. Those Nord spear techniques are really something else. Are you training them as well by any chance? Why, yes I am. Though I hear the skills of the Bardius family are even more polished. It's thanks to my family having lived in Erebonia so long. We've incorporated certain aspects of Imperial spear techniques into our style. We've got a bit of the Schleiden style, the Vander style, and even a few techniques from the Eisenritter mixed in. I'm actually a little jealous of the pure Nord style you use. Well, to be honest, my style isn't completely Nord these days. Well, let's talk of styles. I only ever trained in the military in the 104 military combat they taught us at Military Academy. I'm jealous of the both of you for being able to discuss martial arts of such depth. You're a master of combat in your own way, General. Speaking of the military combat style, I hear it's been going through a number of changes lately to account for Panzer Soldats. I'm sure your right-hand man is quite the pilot. Neidhart, he's one of the best, of course. But even then, I doubt he'd be a match for you, Brigadier General. Maybe General Van Dyck would be a better sparring partner. I think I'll leave it to Lady Aurelia. Looking at them now, you wouldn't know those two men on the battlefield at the end of the Civil War. Now that I think of it, Gaius is acquainted with both of them. He knows General Craig Elliott, and from what I've heard, Gaius and Brigadier General Bardius were both taught by that one traveling priest. The General can still be pretty unreasonable, but I've learned to just let his demands just roll off my back. Yeah, I guess he really is used to dealing with him. Because there wasn't a clear winner between me and the Brigadier General, I was curious. Perhaps we should hold a Panzer Soldat tournament to stir up all the youngins. I can see that getting really out of hand. I've been acquainted with both of them for a while, but I haven't had the opportunity to introduce them until now. Each one is a master in their own right. I imagine their shared love of martial arts will give them more than enough to talk about. I've introduced myself to just about everyone now, but meeting the Empress and Princess Alfin was the most nerve-wracking of them all. I still haven't talked to the heads of the 4 great houses yet. Could I have you come with me? Well, okay. Yes, even the nameless students. My goal is to be able to run my own company one day. Oh, is that so? I was actually 22 when I founded my first business. The trick to starting out is to focus on your brand, you see. Oh, I do see. Go on, go on. Startup advice. Well, now I'm interested too. Whew, I think I finally met with everyone I needed to. I'm glad you can take it a little rest now. It must be tough being head of one of the 4 great houses. Why do you even need to do all that boring stuff? Just let loose. This is supposed to be a party. It's not that simple. Were I to just let loose here, it would create problems in the future. I will do everything I can to fulfill my duty as head of the Ambria family. Hey now, if your brows get any more furrowed, your head's gonna crack like an egg. Let me give you a face massage. I'll get you nice and unfurrowed in no time. No, you won't. Why is this sort of thing always happening with you? Do you even realize the problems that would cause here? Besides, you're a young lady now, so... Gonna getcha! Oh, you two. You guys sure are having fun. Those two never change, do they? But, Strong. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but it does seem like Eustace and Milliam... Does it seem like Eustace and Milliam are always together these days? You think maybe? Quit hanging on to me like that. Nope. Or scratch that thought. Yeah. I'd say they're more like brother and sister that get along really well. Coming from you, Rean, I'm not sure quite sure how to take that. Maybe hoping they'd mature was a little too optimistic. Oh right, isn't it almost time to dance? Any idea who you'll be dancing with, Rean? Well, maybe. Good luck then, I'm rooting for you. Hey, hi Rean, done rubbing elbows yet? Just about. Haven't checked in with the royalty yet, though. They're just yakking up with Gramps. I'm sure you'll get a chance to talk to them later. Just enjoy the party for now. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Good God, it's 2 years and yet Milliam hasn't changed one bit. Maybe so, but you've loosened up quite a bit, Eustace. Well, I'm well aware, but there's no reason for Milliam to dough on me so. Irksome to say the least. Heh. Okay, I'm sure going back to the center will activate a new event. And so the party continued, with Rean never getting into opening a talk with the Chancellor. With the party in full swing, people began gathering in the center of the garden.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. To start us off, my sister Alfin will have the first dance. The way I hear it, people all across the Empire have been awaiting this moment for years. Like me, she is now 17 years old, and this dance will serve as her debut into high society. Her first dance partner shall be a certain instructor at Thor's military academy. None other than the Ashen Chevalier, Rean Schwarzer.
So then he's the princess's...
I hear he's only the son of a baron, but I suppose it's okay these days.
He seems to carry himself well.
Sure enough.
Yeah, there have been rumors going around like wildfire.
It's a huge honor, I guess.
Yes, he shall be the princess's first.
Sounds dirty when you put it that way.
Fee?
Classy, guys.
He was drowning in fame before, and now everyone's talking like him and the princess are already married.
Yeah, seems like everyone's reading way too much into this.
Well, to some degree, yes.
However will this play out, I wonder?
I suppose this is... To tell the truth, I'm actually already acquainted with Mr. Rean Schwarzer.
Should we going to talk about the Panda Girl?
He's the older brother of my dearest friend. Allow me to introduce Elise Schwarzer. She is the student council president at St. Estrella Girls' School. Princess? And she will be making her debut into high society alongside me tonight. Rean will choose which of us he dances with. Whoever he chooses, there will be no hard feelings.
Very well played, Princess.
Aw, what an adorable workaround.
She really is something else.
Wait, do I actually have to physically make a choice?
Princess!
You're a real lifesaver. I will respectfully take both the hand of my sister and her best friend, the princess. It might be a bit unorthodox, but please, allow us Schwarzer siblings to have the first dance.
I wonder whose idea this was.
My word. Can one man truly be this lucky?
Lucky enough to dodge that bullet, you mean?
Yes. Had he danced with the princess first, the whole city would be planning their honeymoon by now. However, since he and his sister danced first, that ship has sailed, as it were.
Oh, Alfin.
That Ashen Chevalier is certainly quite the man. Wouldn't you agree?
You can thank Baron Schwarzer for raising him that way.
Now, all you young people here with us, follow their lead and enjoy yourselves. The summer festival's blue moon shines on us this night. I am certain the spirits are especially riled. So, let us give them a show.
Oh, Patrick does get to dance with her.
My apologies for arriving so late.
Rufus? Ah, so good to see you.
Is that Governor General Rufus?
I didn't know he was coming.
It seems you've stolen the spotlight all to yourself.
To tell the truth, I was at a party held by the Imperial Household Agency. I wish to greet His Highness Olivert, Governor Regnitz, Lord Rogner, and Viscount Arcade before making my way here.
I see.
Thank you for your courtesy.
The night is yet young, and the party has only just begun. Bring out more food and drinks. Please continue to enjoy yourselves, by all means.
You, sis, come with me. Let us catch up, my dear brother. Machias, Elisa, Elliot, and Laura as well. Join us. I'm sure we've much to talk about.
In that case, I shall call upon Ms. Valestein and Ms. Herschel. Come, allow me to introduce you to the Empress.
What's this about all of a sudden? I don't know, but there's no way we can refuse.
Why just us, though? Does it have something to do with our families?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
May as well get going then.
I suppose I'll go.
I wonder what they're talking about.
Think we should follow?
Yeah.
Rean!
Oh, Claire!
What's wrong?
Well, this may come as a surprise, but a certain someone would like to speak with you.
You mean...
The someone who just left, perhaps?
Understood. I'll be going, everyone.
Yes. Good luck.
Try not to be too nervous! Rean? Instructor?
Huh.
Just go straight to the end of the hall, then make a right.
You're on my party. Rean, this might not be helpful, but try not to be too on edge. You've met with His Majesty several times already, right? I don't know what he wants to talk to you about, but I can't imagine it's anything bad. I hope you're right. Can I visit in the other room? There are many young people attending this year's party. It warms my heart to see them all enjoying themselves.
It's luxurious.
It's a sizable lounge for palace guests.
Oh, are you Mr. Schwarzer? Your dances were splendid. I'm looking forward to your future success. Thank you. The question of Princess Alfin's dance partner was the focus of gossip mills across the nation. You seem to have dodged the issue quite skillfully, though. Thank you, and my apologies. That's fine, I wasn't all that interested in it to begin with. May you continue your honorable service, Ashen Chevalier. Trust you're enjoying yourself. If you require anything at all, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you, Major Claire, Mr. Schwarzer. We've been notified of your visit. Please proceed.
There's the back room.
Yes, let's go.
Greetings. His Majesty is waiting. Please enter.
Sir Rean Schwarzer has arrived.
Very good. See him in. I apologize for calling you here like this, Instructor Schwarzer.
No, it's an honor to have an audience with the Emperor.
Your dances with your sister and Alfin were a sight to behold. Your skills as a lead were just as impressive as the rumors suggested. I'm sure my daughter was very happy.
Well...
I'm only joking. You've helped out Oliver numerous times. You've rescued Alfin twice. And you saved Cedric's life at the end of the Civil War. My entire family is grateful for everything you and the rest of Class VII has done. As the Awakener of the Ashen Knight, the very same one my ancestor once piloted, you have saved many lives and averted many crises.
So you knew the truth about Emperor Dreikels?
If you knew that much, you think he would have been able to do something about all this, about Ordine and all the soldats showing up. Really make preparations for that if he knew there were divine knights lying in wait.
Yes, indeed. As well as the relationship between the Chancellor and yourself.
Then again, since he was working with with Osborne, he probably knew already, but was following Osborne's plan for everything. That would make the most sense.
You know that, too?
Yes, I figured it out somewhere along the way. When I asked, the Chancellor didn't deny it, so I took that to mean my suspicions were correct. He and I have much in common. Both of us have lost loved ones to the foolish schemes of others.
I've heard about the Chancellor, but Your Highness?
It happened long ago. Have you perhaps heard anything regarding Olivert's birth mother?
I may have heard a rumor once. Apparently she was a commoner, but she passed away tragically.
The two of us enrolled at Forest in the same year. She was a commoner, but her intelligence, grace, and bright smile were anything but common. We'd fight at times, but eventually we fell in love. Though both of us were young, we became involved with each other. She ended up dropping out of school and returning to her hometown. Then, sometime later, I found she had given birth to a boy. That boy was Oliver. I was still Crown Prince at the time. I wanted to make her my Empress, but she refused. I was at least able to send one of the Vanders to guard her. My father and the lords of the four great houses had been pestering me to get married for years, but I held out hope she'd change her mind. However, when my father fell ill, a group of Jaegers seeking favor with one of the four great houses attacked her and Olivert. The eldest son of the Vander family managed to save Olivert, but she lost her life. My father passed on. I had lost her. I welcomed Olivert as the one ray of light left in my life and officially announced he was my son. Shortly thereafter, I married to ensure this tragedy would not repeat itself. She was the daughter of a small noble family working as a maid. Priscilla accepted my courtship, despite knowing that my heart still belonged to my first love. Olivert seemed intent on walling himself off from everyone in the palace, but Priscilla was able to get him to open up. Maybe Olivert suspected that someone within the palace ordered the hit. He finally accepted me as his father, and when the twins were born, he was just as happy as the rest of us, if not more so. And so, that's the messy history of the current imperial family.
I had no idea. But are you sure it's all right to tell me all this?
It's no great secret. Most of the larger noble families already know. But my point is this. Both the Chancellor and I lost loved ones. But our sons yet live. Certainly a unique point of commonality, wouldn't you say?
That's true. Is that why you appointed him as Imperial Chancellor?
It's true that I felt an affinity with him. However, the most important factor was his negotiation of the ceasefire with Liberl. The events of Hamel wounded my heart deeply, but I knew I could not allow them to be made public. He managed to get both the four great houses and Liberl to concede to his terms and put the 100 Days' War to an end. And so rose the first common-born Imperial Chancellor.
Now I understand. But in the 13 years since he became Chancellor, a lot has changed. The nobles have lost power, while he's only gotten stronger. And he's using that power to steer Erebonia in a dangerous direction. With all due respect, I don't think it's right to sit back and let him continue.
I understand your concern. Oliver's as well. Oliver is more concerned for his brother and sister's futures than anyone. In that respect, he sees the Chancellor as a bigger threat than the nobles do.
That's probably because Cedric and Alfin would have to deal with all the fallout from any conflict that the Chancellor might cause in the future.
However, things are not so simple. Regarding myself and the Chancellor, tragedies like Hamel, at times, this nation will make the most tragically foolish decisions. During the War of the Lions, the brothers of the royal family spilled each other's blood and pulled the nation into their feud. The history of Erebonia is smeared with blood and alight with flames, more than any other country.
He's right. Deception is an important tool in politics and war, but the thought of killing your own people as an excuse to invade another country.
As a teacher of history, I'm sure you have your own thoughts on this matter. So tell me, do you know the people of Erebonia to have a cruel temperament?
No. The people of Erebonia are sincere and value honor and pride. They think highly of martial skill, but know it is a virtue to use it only when absolutely necessary. The incidents you spoke of, it's almost as though a devil had been whispering in their ear.
A devil like Weissman?
Precisely. There is something in Erebonia, something which bends people's minds and steers them toward chaos. Perhaps it could be called a curse, one that has been with us since the founding of this nation.
An actual curse, or maybe an organization working behind the scenes?
If you've read the Black Records, you may have some idea what I speak of.
The Black Records?
It would seem the Church is seeking them out, but the original writings are in the Imperial family's possession. Only those who succeed the throne are permitted to read them. They are records of the truth of this nation's history, and a prophecy of its future. An inevitable future, no doubt. I'm certain any attempts to avoid it will only cause things to become further warped and twisted.
A prophecy that it becomes worse if you try to avoid it? That sounds kind of like the score from Tales of the Abyss.
That is one of the reasons I am not putting a stop to the Chancellor's actions.
Sure, I don't know all the details, but both the Chancellor and His Highness understand the situation fully. Yet they...
And so, I plan to not avert my eyes and watch to the end.
Huh?
As the ruler of Erebonia, the empire mired in darkness and founded under a curse, I shall watch my sons, the Crimson Wings, the new light of the nobility, and Class VII, both old and new, to see if any of them can overcome the iron will of the Chancellor and light the way to a new path for this nation.
I promise to give everything I have to find this new path. Not just as a member of Class VII, but on behalf of Thor's military academy and all its students and graduates.
You're aware that would include both myself and the Chancellor, yes? But all the same, well said.
Welcome back. I'm not sure what you two spoke about, but I trust it was well worth the time?
Yes, most definitely.
Precisely. There is something in Erebonia. Something which bends people's minds and steers them toward chaos.
Rean.
Sounds like something separate from Weissman.
It's nothing.
Unless he was being tempted by the curse too somehow.
Major, can I ask you something?
Finished with your chat?
Your Excellency.
It would appear you want no need to speak with me about something. I can't take too much time out of my schedule, but I have a room prepared. Shall we?
Huh.
Yes, let's go.
Where are you headed, Ash?
I gotta take a piss. Wanna join me?
Do we even have bathrooms in this game?
I'll pass. But let me say this. Don't so much as think about sneaking out.
Huh?
I admit it's a bit nerve-wracking, but this truly is a special event. We should all enjoy it together as Class VII.
Who would have guessed the pretty boy was just as big of a nag as that wild filly? Maybe somewhere along the line, I'll let those guys get to me.
Oh, is something the matter, sir?
Oh, yeah, I was just on my way back from the bathroom, but I noticed something strange.
Something strange, sir?
Yeah, it's just around the corner here.
Around the corner, and the butler will probably be knocked out.
I believe this will be the first time we've been able to speak one-on-one like this. Since, of course, that day 14 years ago.
His Majesty told me. General Craig, too.
So I've heard. His Majesty knows the truth of my circumstances, more or less. Craig and Van Dyke, on the other hand, only know the facts that float on the surface. They remain in the dark as to what truly happened to Brigadier General Gileath Osborne.
Then will you tell me? What happened 14 years ago? Why did you leave me? Why did you leave your son? Why did you become a completely different person? You trampled over everything in your way, robbed the people of their pride and independence, and planted the seeds of the Civil War. After what you did to Jirai, you annexed Crossbelt and North Ambria, and now you're planning a war with Calvard. At the same time, you're working with the Black Workshop and trying to bring all the darkest parts of the world toward the surface. What are you... No. Why are you doing this?
It sounds as though you've figured a great many things out on your own. First, allow me to commend you for not being consumed by your false hero's title. Very well. I shall start with your first question. After I lost Kasha, I left you in Ymir And 3 months later, His Majesty bid me investigate the Hamel incident. Afterward, I went to negotiate with the Queen of Liberl. The Queen agonized over the decision, but I knew she wanted peace as soon as possible. Eventually, she agreed to the terms of the ceasefire. The noble officers behind everything, led by Lecter's father, were given the death penalty, and the 4 great houses were put in check, all in a single month. In recognition of my accomplishment, His Majesty appointed me Chancellor. I'm grateful to Teo. He accepted my request not to reveal anything to you. But at the same time, it meant I had to sever my ties to both you and him. As a revolutionary, taking on the 4 great houses, I needed to be on my own. I couldn't have anything holding me back.
So her name was Kasha, the woman who gave birth to me.
Once I became Chancellor, I crushed those who opposed me, expanded our railway network, and garnered even more power. Behind the scenes, I also made deals with Ouroboros and joined forces with the Black Workshop. After the incident in Liberl, I cut ties with the Snakes and robbed them of the Black Workshop's loyalty. Then, 2 years ago, I used Rufus to fell the Noble Alliance from within. And ultimately, I stole Ouroboros' phantasmal blaze plan right out from under them.
What even is the Phantasmal Blaze plan? And what are you planning to do with it?
By this point, it's safe to say Ouroboros' goal is no different from their gospel plan in Liberl. The acquisition of Aidios' treasures, the Septarian. In Crossbell, they used the false phantasm to awaken the blaze in Erebonia. But the prize they seek is more than simply that blaze.
The blaze, the Septarian of fire?
This dark land once housed 2 treasures. The clash between the 2 of them resulted in the creation of the Great One. All the people, things, and history of Erebonia are inexorably entangled in its blessings and its curse.
How do we know you haven't been cursed?
I'm sure you've been able to deduce that much from certain historical documents you've been reading.
What are you?
Pardon me, Your Excellency. The Emperor is calling for you.
Understood. That shall be all for now.
Wait! We're not done yet! There's so much more I need to ask! How did you survive being shot through the heart? Are you the same as the Jaeger King, the Steel Maiden, and Siegfried? Or does it have something to do with the scar on my chest and this power I have?
14 years ago, when we were attacked, your heart was punctured by debris. Kasha, your mother, she begged me to save you. So, I made the decision to give my heart to my son. That is the reason Crow Armbrush shot to my chest did not find its mark.
But how do you survive the removal of your heart to begin with?
For you to figure out. It's the same riddle I've given to the Ironbloods. Major, escort him back to the venue. Our gallant hero seems a bit disoriented at the moment.
And the butler's unconscious, lost his clothes.
A resin gun that fires gunpowder bullets? Can't be found by metal detectors. Everything falling into place like this is way too convenient. I don't like it.
What's he planning to do with that gun? Is he an assassin now?
I guess beggars can't be choosers.
I know His Excellency isn't a normal person, but I believe somewhere deep down he still cares for you.
Huh?
Myself, Lecter, Milliam, likely even Rufus as well. His Excellency has personally lent his help to each of us. It's possible he thought of us as a replacement for you.
Thank you. I'll try to sort through all this, somehow.
Rean! Instructor Rean!
I heard His Majesty called you in to speak with him?
Chancellor Osborne as well.
You spoke with both of them?
You're looking a little bit green around the gills there.
She's right. What happened?
I can't talk about it just yet. All I can say is that nothing is over yet, and something's about to begin. Once this party's over, can we all get together and talk?
Yes, of course. I think I can better explain what's going on behind the scenes now.
If time permits, I'll tell you all about my circumstances too.
We can come too, right?
Yeah, we're all in the same boat at this point.
You too, Toa. Of course. I'll be there.
Where's Ash?
Huh? I don't see him anywhere nearby.
Wasn't he talking with you earlier, Kurt?
Yes, he said he needed to use the restroom, though that was some time ago.
Is it happening?
Lecter! Claire!
So that's how the Orphan of Hammel's gonna be used, huh? Claire! Milliam! With me!
Let's follow them.
Used. All according to plan?
Oh, where is everyone headed?
Did something happen?
Please wait here. I'll go ask.
He certainly doesn't change.
But that's what makes him him. He's a warrior with an iron will, ready to put his life on the line. It's comforting to know such a person is our leader.
Well, well. It would appear you're already fitting in as a member of the group.
So Cedric was an Iron Blood all along?
I plan to make this announcement during the summer festival.
I can't imagine it will be easy. But knowing you, you're already well prepared.
You're too kind.
Pardon the intrusion.
You are...
Ash Carbide of Thor's Branch Campus, Class VII. The third survivor of Hammel. What have you come here for?
Hammel. So it comes back to that yet again.
Yeah, he was always curious about Hammel all the way back in Chapter 1.
My left eye's aching real bad. Been that way since I was a kid. That scene is burned into it. Even years later, when I was taking care of my mom, I kept hearing the voice. Kill the vile one. Kill the vile one. The Jaegers that attacked the town were slaughtered. You executed all the masterminds. Hammel's name was wiped off the map. You're the one who let this happen, Emperor. Maybe the Queen of Liberl is just as guilty for keeping quiet. Or maybe the other two, for running away and leaving me for dead.
Joshua and Love.
Or even that scarecrow guy, the son of the mastermind. Hey, tell me.
He's got dark energy around him.
Who do I gotta kill to get rid of all this pain?
That means every time he was using his buff craft, he was under the curse all along, and he was probably making the curse even worse every time he powered up. Shit, I should not have used those buffs at all. I should have just took my time and used Saintly Force instead.
The curse. Yes, this is the sacrifice from the prophecy.
Was he mentioned? Was Ash mentioned in one of the Black Records? The prophecy?
It is only fitting it be me. But don't aim for my heart. That won't do you any good. Aim here. It would be your best chance of killing me, if there is any chance at all.
Ash, was it? It won't work on him. He's no human. I have my doubts he's even capable of dying.
Your Majesty.
I don't want this young man's actions to be wasted.
So he's so this curse is acting up on Ash now even worse than before, probably because we peacefully arrested all the agents.
Ash, I am the one responsible for Hammel. Let your years of suffering end with me.
Yeah, since he's using a Calvardian gun, that's not going to end well.
Why the hell would you... Yeah!
What?
Huh?
Damn it! He needs medical attention!
Then again, the agents were all never actually seemed to be out to kill, so it's possible that even if the agents did stuff, they wouldn't cause enough conflict to as an impetus for war. That means Ash was probably fated to shoot the Emperor anyways. Or shoot Osborne, or someone responsible. Anyone important enough to cause the war.
Luxonis medicure Eiyuu.
Father! The princess!
Be strong, Your Highness.
Get the medics! He's lost too much blood! Be careful moving him!
Is he the one responsible?
Yes. Unfortunately.
I thought we'd captured all the Calvardian agents. Is there a chance he was one of them?
A Verne Company gun made with resin parts. It would not have been found by a metal detector. Unfortunately. I cannot deny the possibility.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this Let's Play of The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel Free, please leave a like, subscribe, and or hit the bell icon.